But now Amin comes in. Amin doesn't care about the socio-economic issues, doesn't care about the African issues, Pan-African issues. We said, no. Amin, out. We get you out. And that's why I would like you people really to know what they are talking about. Amin thought it was a joke. He came, and he was welcomed, of course, by some people around Kampala here. But for us, we said, no, Amin, you don't know our programs. We shall get rid of you. From the day one, he announced his coup on the 25th of January. That afternoon, we met in Bugorobi. He announced it at around 3 p.m. By 5, we were meeting, and we had decided to fight Idi Amin. And I spent the 26th of January getting some money from the bank. 27th, I entered Tanzania at Murongo in the afternoon, in the night, and our war against Idi Amin started. Now, when Amin came in, he massacred the soldiers from Acholi and from Lango. And we opposed him. We opposed him massively, viciously. We opposed him. Because first, we opposed him for the original reasons of not knowing what to do, but also for these additional mistakes which he made of killing people, especially from Acholi and from Lango. Now, when we defeated Amin, we opposed the policy of revenge against the people of West Nile. We opposed it. Again, our partners, because the UPC were our partners, now some of them believed in revenge. We didn't support this. We defended the people of West Nile against the revenge because of the mistakes of Idi Amin. Because we said Idi Amin was an individual. How do you punish the people of West Nile because of mistakes of some few soldiers from that area? We rejected that line of revenge. They went ahead, the UPC went ahead, massacred people in West Nile. The people of West Nile fled. By 1985, Uganda was the 4th biggest exporter of refugees in the whole world, because we had 500,000 Western Nileans in Congo and in South Sudan. And when we won, we brought back the people of Western Nile. But when we came in also, we found now the people of Lango being mistreated by a character called Ojuku, who was killing people. We defended them. Then you saw very well, people, when I was in Karamoja, I was on a political rally. Then they started ringing me, oh, this one, Kampala riots, what have you? I said, those riots will be controlled. Don't interrupt my rally. Then my Secretary General rang me. She was very worried. Problems, they are attacking people, NRM uniform. Don't worry, it will be sorted out. So we met in Soroti, and I assured her that there will be, nobody will disturb, nobody will stop. Because that's what they were planning, that they wanted to stop the elections not take place. Nobody can stop anything serious here. They may divert us from what we are doing temporarily to concentrate on this. But you saw on the 14th of January, everybody, even the foreigners, you know, these international travelers, the international, the one call the Ngamanya, the ones who know everything. So those ones say, oh, these Africans can keep, they didn't know that Africans can keep peace. So they came here Somebody was telling me they've written very good reports because the elections were peaceful. Now, in this Kisanja, we defended the people of northern Uganda, we defended the people of Teso and people of Karamoja against cattle rustling. We defended the legitimate interests of the traditional forces in Uganda. In Uganda, when we took over government, they had the Mengo group had their interests, the king, this and that. So we said, okay, let's sit down, let's look at the legitimate interests. We shall support you. I'm not a monarchist, but I supported monarchy because some of the people wanted it. That's no problem. And if it can be done constitutionally, you enjoy your rights, but also respect the rights of others. No problem. So everything is very clearly written in the Constitution, how this should be, how our traditional people can enjoy their rights of culture, of language, but without interfering with the rights of others. Everything was very carefully written in the Constitution. Then, of course, we ensured the recovery of Uganda. The miracle of the recovery of Uganda, the GDP of Uganda is now about 40 billion by the exchange rate method, by the PPP method, it's about 114 billion. Uganda, which was a failed country, a failed state, with a collapsed economy, is now one of the fastest growing economies in the world. The GDP has expanded. The roads, we had a very big problem of shortages. Now we have the problem of surplus. Everything is in surplus. Sugar, industrial products, maize, milk, bananas, everything is in surplus. Electricity, education, health. That's how the population of Uganda is now 46 million. Recently, when I was campaigning, I went to a district called Yumbe. Yumbe, when we gave them a district some few years ago, they were only 100,000. They are now 600,000. So when I went there, I said, you people, did you start marrying only when NRM came to power? They laughed. They said, why? I said, if you were marrying before, where were the children? Of course, they were marrying, and they are Muslims, they were marrying many women. But the children were dying. That's why the population of Yumbe was only 100,000. You can check. When we gave them a district, actually there was a debate, how can you give a district to only 100,000 people? But because General Mustafa Adrisi was from there, he insisted, and we gave them a district. Now they are six. So, with this, there's no group in Uganda which can legitimately oppose NRM. No way. There's no way. If you go, why are you opposing NRM? He's opposing NRM because he's a parasite. Say, because I'm a parasite, you are stopping me from parasiting. Oh, but that's a wrong reason. So parasites are always isolated. And we shall isolate you. If you don't stop, we shall isolate you. So, like, for instance, in northern Uganda, at the beginning, they would go and tell lies. NRM is against people of Rango, is against people of actually, when we are the ones who fought, who stood with you against Idi Amin. We are the ones who stood with you against the mistakes of Ojukwu. how can you say we are against the people of Lango and Acholi? So after some time, everybody says, the liars are exposed and they get rid of them. Because they are liars. They are telling lies. They are not speaking the truth. The people of West Nile, the NRM is the one which got you from exile. You were in exile. NRM is the one which helped you to come back. How can you be against NRM legitimately? Then the people of Teso, the NRM is the one which disarmed the rustlers in the Karamoja. So, because of that, there's no way anybody can defeat NRM, except maybe from its own internal weaknesses, when they make mistakes. But otherwise, in terms of political capital, the capital which you build over time because of what you do, the NRM is unbeatable.